Okay, I need to talk to you about a question I always get answered. This might actually even be the number one question. And it goes a little something like this. Nikki, I'm thinking about moving to Jacksonville, but I want to know where the best neighborhood is. And the question is asked over and over and over again. And the answer is, I'm going to talk to you about all the neighborhoods today. I'm going in deep in each neighborhood just so you understand the whole big part of Jacksonville and why it's such a special city. Jacksonville has over 874 square miles that has over 200 distinct neighborhoods. And yeah, I can't talk about them all today, but I'm going to highlight some of the top neighborhoods that I feel like a lot of people relocating here are asking me about. Thanks so much for sticking around, friends. And you know what? In case this is your first time here, my name's Nicole Smith. I'm a local realtor here in Metro Jacks, and I also am someone who relocated here from the Great White North. So I know what it means and what it takes to live in a city you've never lived in. And frankly, I didn't know anybody here either. So it wasn't like I was moving here because I knew somebody. I did not know a single soul when I moved here. I want to first explain to you, Jacksonville, yes, it's the northeast part of Florida. Florida is a very large state. We are in the top right corner if you're looking on the map. But this city is divided by a river, and it's called the St. Johns River. And so when you talk to people who live here about different communities, oftentimes it's going to be based around this St. Johns River. Now this river runs right in the heart of the city. So you're going to say you want to live on the east side of the river or you want to live on the west side of the river. That's just a common kind of chatter when you're talking about the community. And because 295 is a big circular highway that goes all the way around the city, they'll also talk about it almost like a clock. So you're like, oh, I live up on, the northeast side. I live on the south side, right before you cross over the river. And here, I'll show you a map. You can understand what I'm talking about. So the river is a natural river, and it is big and beautiful, and people gravitate to either the beach or the river, sometimes both. But it is such a privilege to actually have options here. So you get to choose. And sometimes you get to even live near little creeks, and there's an intercoastal. There's all kinds of waterways here, which is so special about this area. So just really quick, the median sale price just in the Metro Jacksonville area is currently around $300,000, and houses are selling about 31% below the national average. So this is a good reason that you might get more bang for your buck here in the Metro Jacksonville area. And we are, very varied. We have homes starting in the 150s, 180s, all the way up, obviously, to millions and multi-millions. We have a very rich community here as well. So you're going to find whatever you need here. Every need of every person that wants to move here, we can find you something because it's that vast and that diverse here. So the very first neighborhood I want to touch on is one of the historical communities, and it's two. I'm going to touch on two real quick. One is Riverside and one is Avondale. They are historic. They're very, I would say almost like the soul of Jacksonville. They're walkable, they're artsy, they're alive. You'll see people there. And honestly, I think if you are a people person and an artistic person, you're going to probably really like the vibe in Riverside and Avondale. The homes are older, they're closer together. They're right near the St. Johns River. And they're not too far from downtown. They're actually just, this community's south of downtown. This 1900s vibe. It's like independent coffee shops, little bookstores. It's a very creative energy who lives here. It's eclectic, and it's anchored by a community called 5 Points. So it is basically explaining what it is. There's 5 points in the road, and all the little shops and restaurants are hovered in and around the Five Points area. There used to be a theater there called Sunray. They actually closed and something else is going on there now. But that one was one of the original staples in the community and is no longer there. But another very fun event that goes on is the Riverside Arts Market. Every Saturday, you can buy fresh fruit and vegetables, a lot of local vendors. You'll have food trucks, you'll have entertainment. And the median price in Riverside is between $320 and $470. And that, of course, varies block by block because you're going to have a little more affordable housing and then you're going to have a little more palatial housing also. Your apartment rents in this area are going to be between $1,400 and $1,800. And I would say this is one of the most walkable neighborhoods in the entire city. So if you love walking and you love staying in, like leaving your car at home and walking to places, this is a great spot. Now let's go on to another historic community. It is called San Marco. Now San Marco, well, it was styled after Venice, and I've never been to Venice, but I've been to Italy, and I love Italy. And of course, I've seen Venice in the movies, but the square there is definitely got the Venice vibe. It's almost like a piazza they have in Venice. It's called the San Marco Piazza. It feels like that there because it's one of the same designers of that area designed this little part of Jacksonville. So you're gonna see some gorgeous fountains with the lions. It's just really pretty in the gazebo, and the restaurants are lovely there. It's very, very nice part of town, and you can do a little walking and shopping and eating and maybe have some wine. It's very charming. It's probably a little bit more polished than Riverside. This is where a little bit, I would say, it's like an urban neighborhood charm on the upper side, a little bit higher. So you're going to have a little bit more refined look. Your homes are going to be a little more larger. The architect here is going to be, it's grander, much grander. I love the houses and the architecture there. But the median price here is between $400 and $550 plus, because if you're on that water, you're looking at $1 million plus. No problem. And the days on market, they usually sell faster in this community if it's a well-maintained home. So you're definitely going to want to take a look at it quick, do your research, and make a decision. You don't want to sit on a house in that area. This is a perfect area for professionals, someone who wants walkability, sophistication, couples without kids maybe, anyone who appreciates architecture, arts, good dining, and you're going to be in walking distance if you park your car and go for a walk. So this neighborhood has less inventory than Riverside, so you always want to make sure you do your research. Next community I want to talk about is Mandarin. Now, Mandarin is a very special part of the southern part of Jacksonville, and this community has a lot of those big trees that cross across the road with the Spanish moss hanging. Very quaint, very unique neighborhood. This is where the original Mandarin oranges were imported here at the Riverport. So that's why they call it Mandarin, and they still have some very historical places there. They had marinas there. There's homes right on the water, so you can have your own dock and access to the St. Johns River here. Now the home prices in Mandarin are between $320 and $450, and of course, if they're on the St. Johns River, once again, they're up in the millions. So you're going to have every option here. You'll find townhouses here as well. So you can find affordable housing. Just know that you're getting all of that there. It's a perfect little part of town for families, people who want a little more space, anyone who wants a little bit slower paced life without sacrificing access to the city. Now let's get into the next neighborhood. It's the beaches. Now we're talking Jax Beach, Neptune Beach, Atlantic Beach. These are the most popular beaches, and Jacksonville is the most liveliest out of all three. It's the biggest. It has a very large amount of sand that you get to have access to. It has the pier. There's great restaurants. There's shopping. Everything you need. They have a lot of nightlife there too. So a lot of people who like to go out and dance and have fun. There's quite a few bars and restaurants down there that have some great activities for the young adults and the old at heart, young at heart, whoever likes to go out. Or if you like to just ride your specialized bike on the sand, go for walks, surf, this is the lifestyle. You're close to the beach, you like to surf, you like to fish. People love this life, and this community has condos. They have single family homes. There's cinder block type style homes here as well. There are a few new construction homes right on the water, and those ones are much more expensive than a normal home, but a normal home is pretty expensive here as well. You're going to have to make sure you love this area and know that the size of your house might be smaller for the budget that you have. They also have this beautiful Seawalk Pavilion, so they have outdoor concerts. Every spring we have the Jazz Festival, and it's a free event unless you want VIP tickets, and that is absolutely spectacular. If I'm in town, I love to go to the Blues Fest. It's one of my favorite activities. But you will get the lifestyle you want. If you want a little quieter lifestyle, you're going to head over to Neptune Beach or Atlantic Beach, and the inventories there may be a little lower. So that is something you definitely will have to consider. And you're going to have to look out for your insurance because it could be quite pricier closer to the water because of hurricanes and so forth and flooding. So you got to do your research and make sure that you are getting exactly what you want at the price you are willing to pay. So we are going to head into the next neighborhood, and that is the Southside, Bay Meadows, and Deerwood area. This area is very diverse. When you hear Deerwood, though, it's one of the first gated HOA communities with a golf course, so it's very pristine, it's very well maintained, and those homes are very well built, and they're a little more expensive than some of the other homes in the Southside area because you can still find apartments and townhouses and condos in the Southside as well. So you're going to be able to get every type of lifestyle you want there. The only thing that's not really happening in that area right now is new construction. That is pretty well over in that area. Unless you're wanting to live right near the town center, there's a new community called Seven Pines, and it is luxurious and it is high end. So you're looking at between $500 to $1.5 million, but you can build your custom home, and it is absolutely beautiful. But this part of town, you're close to the university, you're close to the town center, you're close to hospitals. There's a lot of reasons why people love that community. So it's a nice little spot to get in and out of the whole part of town, it's nice. Overall, it's a good neighborhood to raise your kids safe and all that kind of stuff. But once again, you got to look up the crime on the computer to look that up because I'm not allowed to talk about it. But you know what? Everything's on the internet, so you can find it. Now, the next community I want to talk about is Bartram Park in the St. John's corridor. Now, this community was a planned community. It's very, very much family lifestyle here, raising your children, and you're on the border of Duval County and St. Johns County. And so one side of the street is Duval and one side is St. John. So it just depends on the school you want to go to, what side of the road you might want to live on. But a lot of people are flocking to this community. Bartram Park itself is pretty well done being built when it comes to certain type of homes. But over on Phillips Highway, they're starting to build this fabulous new community called Everrange. I did do a video on one of the 55 and over communities over there, but they have more than just a 55 and over community. And I know Dreamfinders is about to build also off of Phillips, so I see new construction going up there. Bartram Park is definitely one that has, good school systems, water parks, fitness, all this kind of stuff. So you definitely, if you want that lifestyle, you can find it here. The median price here in the Bartram Park area is between $350 and $480. In the St. Johns County area, it's about $545, $546. Like I said before, I'm going to leave a link below so you can definitely link up into my calendar so we can talk about whatever your needs are. Because there's also Nocatee out there in Ponte Vedra. I mean, there's so many communities, I just can't talk about them all. But in that St. Johns County, you're going to find them. So I'm going to smush two more communities together. They're not really close to each other, so don't get confused. But we're going to talk about Murray Hill and Springfield. Now, Murray Hill is a coming up community that if you get in now, you could find a house around 175, 180,000. It may be renovated, it may not, but it's close to Avondale and it's close to Riverside, sort of like it's on the west side of Jacksonville, but you're still getting kind of that vibe. So it's like spilling over. So the people that can't really afford like the $700,000 home, they're like, oh, let's just cross over to this side and go into Murray Hill. So you may get bigger yards. And the same with Springfield. Springfield has such a vibe. It is the oldest part of Jacksonville, the original part of Jacksonville. It is historic. You're going to have old homes. You're going to have houses that are registered with the Springfield Preservation Society, so they'll have their little plaque on the wall, just like in Riverside they might, in Avondale they might, and in San Marco they might. You have to realize though some of the houses are neglected, they've been abandoned, and they're going to need a lot of work. So you're going to get both in those areas. But it might be something you're really looking for, a challenge to buy a property in an area that's really on the upswing with great restaurants and really great shops and so on. So I would always check out Springfield too. And they're having an annual spring garden where you could go and tour some of the historical homes. So that's always a lovely event they have. And then in the fall, they always have a porch fest. So people will let people come to their porch and sing, and everybody sits out on the road on their chairs and just listens to music, and you go from porch to porch, and it's just a great community event. If you ever are here in the November time frame, it's fabulous. But I highly recommend both of those communities, and you're going to get some budget friendly homes in there. So the Murray Hill median sale price is between $175 and $250. Springfield is between $200 and $320, and they're just both the trajectories onward and upward. So it's definitely something you want to keep on your radar if that is something you're interested in. Revitalization is in the process in both those communities, and that's pretty cool. So the next part of Jacksonville I want to talk about is the Arlington area and East Arlington area. And this area, it's one of the most historic areas as well. It was settled by the Europeans, and they have a fort over there, and they have gardens over there. They have a lot of parks over there. It's just a really cool area, and a lot of it hits the St. Johns River and the big bridge going over to the port where the Carnival and the Norwegian cruise ships come in. The Jacksonville Zoo is just over that bridge as well. And then you're not too far if you head down the road to get to Mayport. So there's a lot of great spots right there. But this is another community where you can have $1 million houses, average $200,000 and $300,000 homes, and then houses that are much more affordable in the high $100,000 to $180,000 range. But you have to go block by block because some blocks are not as desired as others. So it's definitely a reason why you want to have a realtor helping you to show you where people are loving to live in that community. But I really want to quickly touch on Amelia Island, Fernandina, and Yulee. This is the furthest northern part of the northeast part of Florida, like the last exit before you get to Georgia. And Fernandina is like, okay, Ritz-Carlton, okay, yeah, Fernandina has a Ritz-Carlton. They have beaches, they have historical spots in the downtown. I mean, it's so charming there. You would love it. But I highly recommend you just reaching out to me and letting me know which area most interests you. Leave it in the comments. I'd be happy to give you some more details on every community. I just need to have you register with me so we can talk about it and I can find out which one I think is best for you. I'm gonna leave you a reference guide. You can take a look at it, stop the screen so you can really take a look at it. and it's going to just kind of give you the price ranges I talked to and who really likes to live in that area and what the vibe is like in that area. There is no way you should move here without hiring a realtor, and I would love to be a realtor. You haven't heard me say that enough. So let's chat about it. So I love living here. I lived in different parts of the city, and the parts I love, I will share with you. The parts I still know people love, but I don't know that much about. But guess what? I've helped people live in those spots, so I get to find out how much they really love it. And I get to hear about it all because I love to find out from people. Do you love this? Do you really like your neighborhood? Is it someplace you would recommend other people to live? Let me know. And remember, life is too short not to love where you're living. And I'm living the dream in Jacksonville, Florida. And I would love to help you start living the dream here too. Thanks for watching, friends. Until next time, stay safe. Bye for now.